Alright, YouTube, just doing this quick from my kitchen. Hot take, real fast, on the Georgia game, because not only is the Vanilla Falcon a fan of the Atlanta Falcons, I'm also a fan of the Georgia Bulldogs. This is going to be a quick Vanilla Falcon strikes right here. Georgia looks good, but I can tell you right now as a fan, I believe all the talk about the offensive line is hype. Yes, they're giants, but they're not playing consistently enough. They couldn't keep the run going without help, without getting Fields in. They couldn't keep Fromm clean the way they needed to get the vertical passing game going. It's a good win for Georgia there, but that offensive line, man, after Missouri, I was worried. After Tennessee, I'm not buying that offensive line. The defense looks like it's coming together, but still playing undisciplined at times. They basically gave Tennessee a touchdown just with undisciplined play. I don't like the idea of switching Fromm and Fields out in the middle of a drive. I do like using them both, but the fumble we saw where Fields took the big hit, I didn't like that. I think that's what happens when you're swapping quarterbacks in the middle of a drive. There's too many things that can go wrong like that I don't like. You got to be ready at all times, but I don't know. Then Georgia has, DeAndre Swift is clearly being outplayed by Harrion and by Holyfield especially. And that's a good problem to have because Swift isn't playing like crap. He's playing great, and he's being outplayed. So UGA remains running back university. That's a good problem to have, YouTube. Don't be mad like I'm saying Swift is garbage or anything like that, or that he's not playing well. It's not what I'm saying at all. He is playing well, and yet he's still being outplayed. And that's a great thing for the University of Georgia. Bama fans, people that wanted to talk crap about UGA's schedule being cupcake, maybe it was at the beginning of the season, but it certainly isn't now. As always happens, different teams in the SEC are playing much better than expected. We now have 3 SEC teams in the top 5, with Louisiana joining, and they're up ahead of UGA. Auburn in the top 10 now, and Kentucky playing out of their minds, much better than anyone anticipated. So let's keep all that talk about Georgia having a cupcake schedule to a minimum when you yourselves are playing a cupcake schedule. So let's not crow too much, Alabama. But there's one thing I will say. Looking at UGA on the offensive line and with the defense, right now I'd have to say they're not ready for Alabama. And that's not a good thing to have to say. It's not something I like saying. It's not something as a fan I want to say. But as a realist, you have to. Alabama's the gold standard, and you have to judge everything your team is doing by Alabama if you plan to be successful. And right now I can tell you, no matter how big that offensive line is for UGA, at this point, they're not ready for Alabama. At this point, the defense isn't ready for Alabama. Now, maybe by the end of the season they will be. There seems to be some improvements going on, especially on the defensive side of the ball. As time goes on, they'll get better. They definitely did last season. But it's definitely going to have to continue to improve, or this is a team that won't make it past the SEC championship. Because I don't think it's going to go like it did last season, where Alabama unexpectedly loses a game, and there's a bunch of flip-flopping and leapfrogging, and Georgia faces Auburn for the SEC championship, and then goes on to face Alabama for the national title. I don't see that happening 2 seasons in a row. So we got to be ready for Alabama. And right now we're not. Hopefully we'll get there. All right, everybody. This is Vanilla Falcon out.